Hello, and welcome to another video done by Kansas City, Kansas Community College's Center for Teaching Excellence. The purpose of this video is to discuss the two plagiarism tools that are in Blackboard. First, we'll talk about SafeAssign, and that is the Blackboard plagiarism detection product. It comes automatically in Blackboard. It's available in the assignment feature in Blackboard, and it's not as robust as the other option that we have at KCCC. We also have TurnItIn available for plagiarism detection. KCCC purchased this as an additional option, and it really does provide the gold standard for plagiarism detection. Another great and unique thing that TurnItIn does is it creates a KCCC database, and each student's paper is added to that database. So if you have the same or a similar paper that you have assigned several semesters in a row, this using TurnItIn then will allow the plagiarism detection to occur and look at your former students' papers as well as current students' papers. It also is going to compare their papers to sources on the internet or databases or other things like that. So it really is a very robust plagiarism detection tool. There are some other considerations when selecting one of these tools. First, and most importantly, if you are wanting to use this paper for academic assessment, for example, for course, program, or institutional assessment and alignment to a learning outcome, that is not possible if the paper is only submitted to TurnItIn. And the reason that isn't possible is because TurnItIn is an external vendor that's kind of plugged into Blackboard, and it's not integrated with the Blackboard Outcomes Assessment module. So if you do want to use this paper assignment for assessment, then the students are going to have to submit it twice. Once in a TurnItIn Dropbox for plagiarism detection, and then once in a assignment feature Dropbox in Blackboard. And it's in that assignment digital Dropbox that assessment alignments can be added. Now, when you do that, you don't have to grade both of them. It can just be there for the assessment alignment. And you can even make that invisible or hide that from the student. But you will need to have a Blackboard assignment Dropbox created if you want to add an alignment to a course level outcome or an institutional level outcome. For example, like the communication institutional outcome or critical thinking or anything like that. So those are very important considerations. So first, let's talk about SafeAssign. And the instructor can create a SafeAssign plagiarism detection review by clicking on submission details when they create this an assignment digital Dropbox. So as you can see here, this is just an image, and I'm going to go to Blackboard here in a minute and show you how to do this, but that's what I mean by submission details. You can see this arrow is pointing to that. And then down here where it says plagiarism tools, you check the box to use SafeAssign, and then I always like to allow students to see their originality reports, but you have to check that box to make that happen as well. Okay, so I'm going to go to Blackboard right now and show you how to do this. So I'm going to get to, it's really kind of your choice on where you put these Dropboxes. I have everything broken out into modules, and I like to have assignments and instructions and everything in one place based on the module that we're in. Other times people put them in, if you create a folder that says writing assignments and you put the instructions and the Dropboxes together. Other people create a new content area that says, you know, course submissions or submit your work here. It's really kind of up to you. So I'm going to go here to this module on personality in an introductory psychology course. And one of my assignments that I have is a 5-paragraph essay. So now I'm going to add the virtual Dropbox. So I will go up here to assessments, and whether I'm doing a Blackboard, SafeAssign plagiarism detection, or a TurnItIn plagiarism detection, they're both in the same place. So first I'm going to show you SafeAssign. So I'm going to click on assignment. So you can put in your title, 5, here we'll call it Freud, 5-paragraph essay, digital Dropbox. And it's really up to you what you want to call it. You can say essay submission, digital Dropbox, whatever. Give it a title that students are going to know, okay, this is where I need to upload my paper. You may want to write in brief instructions. You also can attach, if you wanted to, the full instructions. It's really kind of up to you. I always like to add a due date, because when you add a due date, it populates the assignment in the calendar feature for students in Blackboard. And then I typically have it always due at the end of the day. So then students know exactly and that when it's due by, and that goes into, and I'm just going to show you real quick. Here's the calendar feature. When you click on that, that shows all these due dates, assignments for exams or whatever that are in Blackboard. You put how many points you want to make it. There's another video showing you how to add a rubric in Blackboard, and you're welcome to watch that. As I mentioned earlier, here's the submission details. When you click on that, you get additional options. You can make individual submissions, single attempts. Right here is where you check the box for plagiarism tools, and this is SafeAssign. The other thing I usually like to do is allow my students to see that, and then I hit submit. Now this is going to create, and as always, Blackboard puts it at the very end of the list, and then you can drag it up to wherever you want to put it. So that was how I created SafeAssign. Now I'm going to show you, I can't show you what it's going to look like in the Grade Center, because that would mean that a student actually submitted it, and I obviously don't want to disclose anything like that. But when you go to Grade Center and you are ready to grade these papers and you click on them, you're given this option of SafeAssign. When you click on that, you can select the originality report to view that, and that originality report looks like this. And again, I'm just showing you this within PowerPoint because I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any student names attached to any of this, but this is a paper from this semester that I use SafeAssign for, and this is the report that I got back, the originality report that I was able to view in the Blackboard Grade Center. As I mentioned, it's going to look at global databases and internet resources. And as I said earlier, SafeAssign isn't quite as robust as TurnItIn. So that leads me into TurnItIn. So TurnItIn is an external product that KCKCC bought. As I mentioned earlier, it is the gold standard in plagiarism detection. It's a very robust software program. It creates a database of KCKCC papers, and not only does it compare students' papers to KCKCC papers, but also other papers from other institutions across the country. There's lots of options that the instructor can select, and when I get to Blackboard, I'll show you that. There is an ability to create a rubric for grading within TurnItIn, and there's another video showing you how to do that. And as I mentioned earlier, some of the significant drawbacks to using TurnItIn is if you also want to use this paper for assessment, you have to, in order to do that, you have to create an assignment digital Dropbox. So you'd have to have one for TurnItIn, where the plagiarism detection happens, and then another one for the assignment Dropbox to have the learning outcomes attached to that. So again, something to think about in terms of what is going to work best for you. All right, so this is kind of what it looks like. I'm going to go back to Blackboard and show you how to do that. So here we are again, back to where we were before. And again, this time I'm going to go to assessments, and collect TurnItIn assignment. So when I click on that, kind of looks like this. Sometimes it takes a couple extra seconds to load because it is an external product. It's not, that is an addition to what comes with Blackboard. So you sometimes have to wait a couple seconds, but then it pops right up. So here you want to put in your assignment title. So Freud. Again, it's up to you what you want to call it. So Freud, TurnItIn, assignment Dropbox is what I called it. Again, 20 points is what I had earlier. You can put your start date and your due date. Again, this is similar to what I showed you in the Blackboard feature. So here, I think I made it on the 12th at 11:59 p.m. This post date is when students can start viewing the feedback for what you've graded. So for example, if you're grading, you have students turn in early work and you start grading it, but you don't want them to view that feedback until after the due date, then you want to make the post date after the due date. So as I mentioned earlier, there's lots of optional settings. So here's kind of where they are. You can add specific instructions. Do you want to allow submissions after the due date? So that's whether you take late work or not. You want to generate similarity reports. That's the plagiarism detection part. And here are some options in terms of generate similarity reports for student submissions. They can do immediately their first report is final, or if you have rewrites, then they can overwrite reports until the due date. Do you want to exclude bibliographic material? That's again up to you. Do you want to exclude quoted material? Do you want to exclude small sources? Here's the other question. Do you want your students to see the reports or not? And then reveal grades to students only on post dates, yes or no. So that's again up to you. If you want to add a rubric, this is kind of where to do that. And again, there's another video showing you how to do that. And you can even click these options. It'll remember them for the next time if you want similar options for future papers. So then you click submit. It tells you, okay, great, this has been added. You click OK. And again, just like before, it creates it at the very bottom and you can drag it up to wherever you want to drag it up to. And so you can see how these are now different. So this is the SafeAssign within Blackboard, and this logo is the TurnItIn logo. So now I have two in this same folder, and obviously I wouldn't want both of them there, but I wanted to show you kind of what they look like. All right, so I'm going to get out of Blackboard, go back over here. So a column should be created in the Grade Center showing the Dropbox, and you can make sure that happens by going to your own Grade Center. You can then access student papers through the Grade Center to grade them, and you'll just click on each one at a time. TurnItIn creates plagiarism similarity ranges, and they use a color coding to kind of let you know how much the similarity is to other plagiarized work. Oops. Go back. Didn't mean to do that. So here, if you're seeing orange or red, that's significant problems or significant concerns. It's detecting a lot of plagiarism there. So again, that's up to you what to do with that or what your policy is going to be, but it gives you a range of the similarity index. The instructor can provide feedback through the Grade Center. And as I mentioned earlier, create a rubric, and then students can see their feedback by clicking on this blue speech bubble icon. So that's how students can view your comments in TurnItIn. So again, as I mentioned previously, you need to consider assessment alignments, which is better and which is a better product for you. And then in summary, there are other videos showing you how to create rubrics both in Blackboard and in TurnItIn. So we're here to help. Thank you very much. Hopefully this was a helpful video for you.